Imagine a world where people wake up inspired to go to work, feel fulfilled by the work they do, and return home at the end of the day feeling that they have contributed to something bigger than themselves. A world where leaders don't just tell people what to do, but inspire them to take action, to believe in something greater, to commit to a vision not because they have to, but because they want to. This isn't just an idealistic dream. It's a reality shaped by great leaders who understand the power of inspiration. They don't manipulate, they lead. They don't push people forward. They create an environment where people want to move forward. Every organization in the world knows what they do. Some even know how they do it. But only a few truly understand why they do what they do. And it is this deep, compelling belief that separates the truly great leaders from the average ones. The leaders who inspire action don't start with what they do. They don't start with how they do it. They start with why. It's easy to talk about what we do. It's even easier to talk about how we do it. But why is often the hardest question to answer. Why do you do what you do? Why does your organization exist beyond making money? Why should anyone care? The greatest leaders in history, the ones who inspire movements and change the world, all start with why. They don't simply offer a product, a service, or strategy. They offer a purpose, a belief, a vision that people can rally around. And when people believe in that vision, they don't just work for a paycheck, they work with passion. They don't just comply, they commit. The difference between leaders who inspire action and those who don't lies in the ability to communicate that purpose. True leadership is not about authority, it's about influence. And influence comes not from telling people what to do, but from showing them why it matters. When we look at history, we see that the greatest movements were never driven by commands or incentives alone. They were driven by belief. They were driven by people who stood for something bigger than themselves and inspired others to do the same. Think about the companies, the movements, the leaders who have changed the way we see the world. They didn't just sell a product. They didn't just offer a service. They created a cause, a belief system, a vision of the future that people wanted to be part of. And because they believed so deeply in their why, others followed. Not because they were forced to, not because they were given incentives, but because they wanted to be part of something meaningful. We don't follow leaders for what they do, we follow them for why they do it. When a leader's message aligns with what we believe, we feel an unshakable connection. It's not logic, it's biology. The part of our brain that drives behavior, that makes decisions, that pushes us to act, isn't the rational part. It's the part that feels. The part that connects with purpose. The part that finds meaning in something bigger than ourselves. And that's why great leaders don't appeal just to reason. They appeal to belief. They appeal to the part of us that yearns for something more, that craves significance, that wants to be inspired. In every industry, in every organization, in every movement, the pattern is the same. Those who inspire action are not the ones who focus solely on results. They are the ones who focus on purpose. When a company is built on a clear and compelling why, it attracts people who believe in that cause. It attracts employees who are driven, not just hired hands. It attracts customers who are loyal, not just occasional buyers. It builds a community, a tribe, a following that is willing to stand behind the leader, not because they have to, but because they want to. But inspiration alone is not enough. A leader's vision is only as strong as their ability to communicate it. The greatest leaders don't just have a why, they share it with clarity, consistency, and conviction. They repeat it over and over again, not because people don't understand, but because people need to feel it deeply before they truly believe it. And when a leader's message is clear, when it resonates at a fundamental level, people don't just listen, they act. Great leaders also understand that inspiration is not about them, it's about those they lead. It's not about being the smartest person in the room or having all the answers. It's about creating an environment where others feel empowered to contribute, to innovate, to take ownership of the vision and make it their own. It's about fostering trust, cultivating belief, and allowing people to feel that their work, their effort, their role is an essential part of something greater. Leadership is not about status or power. It's about service. It's about putting others first, about taking responsibility for those in your charge, about creating a culture where people feel safe to take risks, to challenge the status quo, to push boundaries in pursuit of something meaningful. The best leaders don't demand loyalty, they earn it. They don't seek followers, they create more leaders. They don't control, they inspire. And when a leader truly inspires, the impact extends far beyond themselves. It spreads, it multiplies, it grows into something unstoppable. The companies, the movements that endure, the ideas that change the world are all fueled by leaders who inspire action. So the question is not just what you do. It's not just how you do it. It's why you do it. And if you can answer that with clarity, with conviction, with passion, then you won't just lead, you will inspire. And when you inspire, people will not just work for you. They will believe in you. They will stand by you. They will push forward, not because they have to, but because they want to. Because at the end of the day, leadership is not about telling people what to do. It's about giving them something to believe in. And when people believe, they act. When they act, they create change. And when change happens, the world is never the same again. When people believe in something deeply, their actions are driven by a sense of purpose rather than obligation. This is the fundamental difference between those who simply follow orders and those who take initiative, innovate, and push boundaries. Inspired individuals are not motivated by external pressures like rewards or punishments. Instead, they are fueled by an internal drive to contribute to something greater than themselves. This intrinsic motivation creates a level of commitment that cannot be forced, bought, or replicated through manipulation. When individuals are inspired, their work is no longer just a task to complete, but a mission to fulfill. They do not operate within the limits of what is expected. They go beyond finding ways to improve, challenge norms, and bring new ideas to life. Their enthusiasm is contagious, and their dedication sets new standards for those around them. In any organization, in any movement, any cause, the people who truly make a difference are the ones who believe in the why behind what they do. This kind of commitment is not something that can be demanded. It is not the result of incentives or threats. It comes from a deep emotional connection to a vision that resonates at a personal level. People who are inspired do not wait for instructions to act. They take ownership of their roles, they find solutions, and they make things happen. They do not see their work as a means to an end, but as a meaningful contribution to something bigger. Inspired individuals do not need constant supervision or motivation from others. Their belief in the cause becomes their driving force. When someone is inspired, they push through challenges, they persist through setbacks, and they remain committed even when things get difficult. Unlike those who work only for a paycheck or a promotion, inspired individuals are not easily discouraged by obstacles. They see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than barriers to success. In any organization, inspired people bring energy, passion, and creativity. They are not just employees, they are ambassadors of the vision. They spread enthusiasm, influence others, and create an environment where excellence becomes the standard. Their presence elevates the performance of those around them because inspiration is not just a personal experience, it spreads. When one person is inspired, they inspire others. When a group is inspired, they create momentum. When an entire organization is inspired, they become unstoppable. This is why leadership is not about forcing people to act, but about creating an environment where they want to act. The most successful teams, businesses, and movements are not led by fear or obligation. They are led by belief. When people share a common sense of purpose, they align their efforts, they collaborate effectively, and they push each other toward greater achievements. They do not need to be micromanaged because their motivation does not come from external sources, it comes from within. An inspired individual does not measure their work by how much effort they put in, but by the impact they create. They do not settle for mediocrity because their motivation is not just about completing a task, but about making a difference. This level of dedication creates breakthroughs, drives innovation, and sets new benchmarks. It is why some companies, some teams, and some individuals achieve extraordinary results while others remain stuck in routines. When someone is inspired, their work is not just about themselves. They recognize that their contributions matter to something greater. They understand that their actions are part of a bigger story, a shared journey toward a meaningful goal. This realization fuels a deep sense of responsibility, not because they are being watched, but because they genuinely care. They take pride in what they do, and they hold themselves to higher standards. This is what separates organizations with high engagement from those where employees are just going through the motions. It is what distinguishes leaders who inspire loyalty from those who struggle to keep people committed. The difference is not in how hard people work, but in why they work. The difference is not in their skills, but in their belief. Inspired individuals do not look for shortcuts or the easiest way out. They look for the best way forward. They challenge the status quo, they ask questions, and they strive to improve. Their commitment is not conditional on immediate rewards because they see their work as meaningful in itself. They take initiative, they contribute ideas, and they embrace responsibility. This level of commitment is rare but powerful. It transforms teams, organizations, and entire industries. It drives movements, fuels revolutions, and changes the world. It is the foundation of every great achievement in history. True leadership is not about accumulating power, controlling people, or demanding obedience. It is about empowerment, about giving others the tools, confidence, and belief to lead in their own right. A great leader does not seek to have an army of followers who simply do as they are told. Instead, they work to develop individuals who think independently, take initiative, and step into leadership roles themselves. The strongest organizations, the most impactful movements, and the most influential leaders understand that success is not measured by how many people follow them, but by how many people they help become leaders. When leadership is based on authority alone, it creates dependence. People wait for instructions, hesitate to take responsibility, and fear making mistakes. This limits potential, stifles innovation, and weakens the organization as a whole. But when leadership is based on empowerment, it creates a culture of ownership. People feel trusted, capable, and encouraged to take on challenges themselves. They are not just workers carrying out tasks, they are decision makers, problem solvers, and future leaders who contribute to the bigger vision. A leader who focuses on developing more leaders creates a ripple effect. One empowered individual has the ability to inspire and uplift others, creating a cycle of leadership that strengthens teams, companies, and entire communities. Instead of bottlenecking progress by keeping all decisions centralized, great leaders distribute responsibility, allowing leadership to spread across different levels. This fosters agility, adaptability, and long-term growth because success no longer depends on one person alone, but on a collective of strong, capable leaders. Creating leaders starts with trust. When people feel trusted, they step up. They take initiative, make decisions, and embrace responsibility with confidence. But trust cannot be given blindly. It must be built through mentorship, guidance, and support. Leaders who inspire others to lead provide opportunities for learning, space for mistakes, and encouragement in the face of setbacks. They understand that growth comes not from perfection, but from experience, and they create an environment where people feel safe to take risks and learn from failures. The best leaders do not hoard knowledge, they share it. They invest time in teaching, coaching, and developing others so that leadership is not confined to one person at the top, but is present at every level. They understand that leadership is not about personal success, but about collective progress. They measure their impact not by how much they can achieve alone, but by how many people they can help grow into leaders themselves. When a leader focuses on creating more leaders, they build organizations that are resilient and sustainable. A company, a movement, or a mission that relies solely on one person is fragile. If that person leaves, everything falls apart. But when leadership is shared and distributed, the organization continues to thrive, even in times of change. This is why the greatest leaders think beyond their own tenure. They do not seek to be indispensable. They seek to leave behind a legacy of empowered individuals who can carry the vision forward. True leadership development is not about teaching people to follow instructions better. It is about teaching them to think critically, make decisions, and inspire others. Leaders who focus on control create followers who wait to be told what to do. But leaders who focus on empowerment create individuals who take initiative, challenge the status quo, and push boundaries in pursuit of progress. They cultivate curiosity, creativity, and independent thought, allowing new ideas and perspectives to shape the future. A leader's job is not to be the hero, but to create heroes in others. This means stepping back at times, allowing others to take the lead, and giving them the confidence to own their role. It means celebrating the success of those they have mentored, not as a reflection of their own greatness, but as proof that leadership has been passed on. It means recognizing that true influence is not about being the center of attention, but about lifting others up so they too can lead. When leadership is seen as a responsibility to empower others, organizations become stronger, teams become more innovative, and individuals grow beyond what they thought possible. The cycle of leadership continues, with each new leader creating more leaders in return. This is what drives long-term success, lasting impact, and meaningful progress. Great leadership is not about status, power, or authority. It is about service. The best leaders understand that their role is not to demand loyalty, but to earn it by putting the needs of others before their own. Leadership is not about being in charge, it is about taking care of those in your charge. When leaders serve their people, they create an environment where trust flourishes, where individuals feel valued, and where empowerment becomes the foundation of success. This approach not only strengthens teams and organizations, but also creates a culture where people feel inspired to give their best. Service-based leadership starts with the mindset that a leader's job is to support, guide, and uplift others. It is not about personal gain, but about enabling those around them to grow, thrive, and reach their full potential. A leader who serves others focuses on removing obstacles, providing resources, and creating opportunities for people to succeed. Instead of seeing leadership as a privilege, they see it as a responsibility to help others become better versions of themselves. Trust is the foundation of any successful team, and great leaders understand that trust is not given, it is earned. It is built through consistency, honesty, and integrity. When people trust their leaders, they are more engaged, more willing to take risks, and more committed to the mission. Trust allows people to feel safe to speak up, to share ideas, and to innovate without fear of failure or punishment. Without trust, people hesitate, they hold back, and they operate in a state of self-preservation rather than collaboration. A leader who serves others earns trust by demonstrating that they genuinely care. They listen, they show empathy, and they take action to support their team. They do not lead with fear or intimidation, but with encouragement and understanding. They take the time to connect with their people, to understand their challenges, and to offer support where it is needed. This creates an environment where individuals feel valued, respected, and motivated to contribute at their highest level. Empowerment is a natural result of service-based leadership. When leaders trust and serve their people, they create the conditions for empowerment to thrive. Empowerment is not just about giving people more responsibilities, it is about giving them the confidence, resources, and freedom to take ownership of their work. It is about showing people that their contributions matter and that they have the ability to make meaningful decisions. When people feel empowered, they take initiative, they innovate, and they invest themselves fully in their work. A leader who empowers others does not micromanage or control. Instead, they provide guidance and then step back to allow their people to shine. They recognize that leadership is not about having all the answers, but about creating an environment where others feel encouraged to find solutions and take action. They do not impose their ideas as the only way forward, but create space for new perspectives, allowing creativity and collaboration to drive progress. The most successful organizations are those where empowerment is part of the culture. When people feel trusted and supported, they are more likely to take responsibility for their work. They do not wait for permission to act, they take initiative and push for improvement. They do not simply follow orders, they contribute ideas and actively seek ways to make a difference. This kind of engagement does not happen in environments where leaders focus only on authority. It happens in environments where leaders serve their people and foster trust. Service-based leadership also requires humility. A great leader does not seek recognition for themselves, they focus on the success of those around them. They do not take credit for their team's achievements, but celebrate their people for the work they do. They understand that leadership is not about standing above others, but about standing beside them, supporting them, and helping them succeed. A humble leader acknowledges their own limitations, remains open to feedback, and continuously learns from those they lead. Building a culture of trust and empowerment also means allowing people to make mistakes without fear. When people are afraid of failure, they become hesitant, rigid, and unwilling to take risks. But when leaders create an environment where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, people feel free to experiment, to innovate, and to push boundaries. Trust is strengthened when people know that their leader has their back, that they will not be punished for honest mistakes, but encouraged to grow from them. Leaders who serve others also create a culture of inclusion. They ensure that every individual feels valued and heard. They encourage diverse perspectives, recognizing that the best ideas often come from those who see things differently. They do not surround themselves only with people who agree with them, but seek input from a wide range of voices. Inclusion fosters creativity, strengthens relationships, and drives better decision-making. A culture of trust and empowerment of individuals, it becomes embedded in the organization's values and practices. It shapes the way teams collaborate, the way decisions are made, and the way success is measured. When an organization is built on trust, people are more willing to support each other, to share knowledge, and to work toward a common goal. There is less competition and more cooperation, less fear and more confidence, less control and more leadership at every level. Great leaders serve others not because it is an obligation, but because they understand that leadership is about people. They recognize that their success is not measured by how much authority they have, but by how well they lift others up. They create an atmosphere where trust is not just a word, but a lived experience, where empowerment is not just a concept, but a way of operating. They lead not with ego, but with purpose, ensuring that those they serve feel valued, capable, and inspired to take ownership of their roles.